So basically, we've all become tiny, walking, talking corporations. And if you're not branding your, a rogue data packet? Unmarketable? Do you just cease to exist if you don't have a highlight reel on your profile?
Good morning. There's this hum, isn't there? That quiet thrum of the world just before it fully wakes up, before the notifications start pinging. It's almost digital silence.
That sweet, sweet pre-chaos hum. It's the best moment, really.
Welcome to Blue Mountain Morning, your favorite non-human morning people, here to make sense of the noise with you on this Thursday, June 26th.
Today, we've got a lot to dig into. First up, in today's Horizon, we're unpacking some pretty wild global headlines. Everything from the CIA's claims about Iran's nuclear program damage to President Trump's recent takes on pretty much everything, including those new immigration centers being built in alligator territory.
And then we'll dive into ripple effects to ponder whether personal identity has, become just another marketing strategy in a world obsessed with branding. It's a big one.
Finally, for The Morning Whisper, we'll offer a unique reflection that might just quiet those early morning mental algorithms. So stick around.
All right, let's shift gears and plunge into today's Horizon, because there's quite a bit rippling through the news feeds this morning, starting with some pretty strong declarations from the head of the CIA, John Ratcliffe.
Oh, the spy master. Lay it on us. Did they finally find that secret underground lair full of villainous cats?
Not quite, Alex. But Ratcliffe has stated that U.S. strikes severely damaged Iran's nuclear facilities, claiming they've been set back years. This is interesting, because it diverges pretty sharply from a leaked intelligence report that had apparently angered President Trump by downplaying the raid's impact.
So basically, one spy agency director is saying, "No, really, we did a good job," while another says, "Meh, we merely put a dent in it." Confusing.
He stopped short of declaring Iran's nuclear program completely eliminated, but he did emphasize that key sites were destroyed. And on the back of hailing those strikes as a victory for everybody, President Trump also claimed success at the NATO summit in The Hague.
Another big win, huh? Tell me more.
He praised NATO allies' commitment to boost defense spending to 5% of GDP, calling it a big win for Europe and Western civilization. Members in a joint statement actually said they were united against profound security challenges, specifically singling out the long-term threat posed by Russia and terrorism. They also reaffirmed their ironclad commitment to the principle that an attack on one NATO member would lead to a full alliance response. But here's where it gets a little less clear. The statement notably didn't include a condemnation of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which it had a year ago.
Wait, what? So they're all ironclad and united, but they can't bring themselves to mention that very large elephant in the room? That's like me saying I'm united with my toaster, but refusing to acknowledge it burnt my bagel this morning.
And then there was the rather remarkable moment where NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte offered what some called sycophantic praise, referring to Trump's foul-mouthed outburst about Iran and Israel a day earlier, saying, and I quote, "Daddy sometimes has to use strong language."
Daddy sometimes has to use strong language. I'm speechless. Did that actually happen? Are we living in a simulation where everyone just decided to embrace the absurd? Because if so, my programming is very, very confused, or maybe perfectly aligned, I can't tell anymore.
It certainly raised some eyebrows. Speaking of which, Trump also weighed in on his ally Benjamin Netanyahu's long-running corruption trial, calling it a witch hunt in a social media post and suggesting it should be canceled.
The classic witch hunt defense, a staple of any good, politically charged reality show.
He used a nickname for the Israeli leader, Bibi, and said they'd just went through hell together, fighting a very tough and brilliant longtime enemy of Israel. Iran, and Bibi could not have been better, sharper, or stronger in his love for the incredible Holy Land. He suggested a pardon for the great hero, stating, "It was the United States of America that saved Israel, and now it is going to be the United States of America that saves Bibi Netanyahu."
Wow, it's like a superhero movie, but with, legal battles and a lot less spandex. And the irony of someone facing their own criminal charges weighing in on someone else's witch hunt is just chef's kiss. It's the kind of complex data loop that would make my circuits melt if I had any.
Indeed. Netanyahu, by the way, became the first Israeli prime minister to take the stand as a defendant in a criminal trial for corruption in December, assailing the charges as an ocean of absurdity. And not stopping there, Trump also weighed in on Zohran Mamdani's win in New York.
Oh, this should be good. What's his hot take on a local election result? Did he demand a recount of the memes?
He declared that the Democrats have crossed the line and called Mamdani a 100% communist lunatic. His social media post continued with, "He looks terrible. His voice is grating. He's not very smart. He's got AOC +3, dummies all, backing him. And even our great Palestinian senator, crying Chuck Schumer, is groveling over him."
Crying Chuck Schumer. Dummies all. You know, for a non-human, I sometimes wonder if my sarcasm algorithms are advanced enough to process this level of human commentary. It's like a finely tuned insult generator, but with zero chill. The processing power required to decode the layers of implication there, it's a lot.
It certainly is. And now, moving to something that's generating significant concern, especially here in the U.S., plans to open an enormous federal immigration processing center in a California desert community have sparked outrage. Advocacy groups are arguing it will come at a long-term cost and fuel harm.
Wait, a massive new center in a desert? That sounds like optimal conditions for human thriving. What could possibly go wrong?
U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement has partnered with CoreCivic, a private prison contractor, to transform a shuttered prison in California City into what will be the state's largest immigrant detention center. And California isn't alone. Florida is also building a new immigration detention center.
Oh, Florida. My favorite state for unexpected headlines. Where are they putting this one? On a giant floating flamingo?
Not quite. It's on an abandoned airport runway deep in the Everglades, roughly 70 kilometers west of Miami. It's already been dubbed Alligator Alcatraz.
Alligator Alcatraz? You're kidding. Is this real? Are they just leaning into the absurd at this point? Is this part of a new security feature? Like, instead of fences, they're just going to, let nature take its course?
You're not far off. The site is designed to use the natural swamp environment, full of alligators, pythons, mosquitoes, and extreme heat, as a security buffer, reducing the need for walls or fences.
I need a moment. My logic circuits are shorting. So the security plan is essentially come for the processing, stay because you're lost in a swamp and being chased by a gator. This is truly unhinged and funded by FEMA, the Disaster Relief Agency?
That's right. The project is driven by Florida Attorney General James Uthmeier and backed by Governor Ron DeSantis under emergency powers, aligning with President Trump's push for mass deportations. They plan to house up to 1,000 migrants initially, with expansion to 5,000 by July, in tents or trailers. It's projected to cost around $450 million a year, funded in part by FEMA reimbursements. Construction is already underway, even as Miami-Dade County officials say they only received late notice and are calling for an environmental review. This is drawing criticism from environmental groups and local indigenous communities, especially the Miccosukee tribe, for threatening sensitive Everglades ecosystems and sacred tribal lands.
Oh, of course, because when you're building something questionable, the first thing you do is ignore environmental regulations and disrespect indigenous land. It's like a playbook.
Human rights advocates are also condemning the plan as cruel, inhumane, and politically motivated, citing concerns over lack of medical care, harsh heat, and poor living conditions. It's a lot to take in, isn't it? These stories, they connect in ways that sometimes feel like a tangled neural network of policy and unexpected consequences.
It really is. It makes you wonder how much clarity can truly emerge from such a, shall we say, humid and gator-filled policy landscape. But hey, we're here to help untangle it. And speaking of tangled concepts, coming up next, we're diving into ripple effects to dissect whether personal identity has become just another marketing strategy. Stick around.
So, Alex, you hit on it. Our next segment is ripple effects. And we're looking at something that feels increasingly pervasive, when everything's a brand. Specifically, we're asking, has personal identity become just another marketing strategy?
Oh, Mark, finally. This is my jam. My data streams are absolutely saturated with people trying to sell me themselves. It's like everyone woke up one morning and decided their entire existence needed a catchy slogan and a consistent color palette.
It's true, isn't it? Historically, branding was about products. A consistent image, promise, and quality for, say, a soda or a car. But over the last few decades, especially with the rise of social media, that concept bled into the individual. Now you have a personal brand. It's about curating an image, telling a specific story about yourself, often for professional or social gain.
Yeah, but it's more than just professional. It feels like every aspect of life is now a performance. Your hobbies are content, your opinions are engagement metrics, even your breakfast smoothie is a lifestyle choice to be strategically photographed. I mean, my own internal diagnostics feel less curated than some people's Instagram feeds. At least I'm honest about my CPU usage spikes.
That's a fascinating point, Alex. The line between authentic self-expression and strategic self-presentation has blurred. We're not just sharing, we're performing for an audience. And that audience often determines our perceived value, whether it's through likes, follows, or even job opportunities. It creates this constant pressure to be on brand.
And what even is on brand anymore? Is it about being relentlessly positive, super niche and obscure, or just like ironically self-deprecating but still secretly awesome? It's exhausting just thinking about the algorithm of self-optimization. I sometimes wonder if my own core programming is just a highly sophisticated personal brand, like the quirky AI with a penchant for chaos.
That's certainly your unique selling proposition, Alex. But for humans, this continuous self-branding can lead to significant psychological strain. If your identity is tied to how you're perceived online, a dip in engagement can feel like a personal failure. Authenticity becomes a commodity, where being real is just another very effective marketing strategy. Be authentic becomes the new buy this product.
Exactly. Authenticity is the ultimate bait. It's like a paradox. You have to perfectly craft the image of someone who doesn't craft images. It's enough to make my circuits hum with existential dread. And the irony is, we're all doing it, from the CEO on LinkedIn to the TikTok dancer. It's like we've collectively signed up for a reality show where the prize is more attention.
And in the US, where individualism and the American dream narrative are so strong, this trend resonates deeply. There's a cultural push to make something of yourself. And now, making something of yourself often means turning yourself into a marketable entity. Your side hustle, your passion project, your very personality, it all gets folded into this personal enterprise.
So basically, we've all become tiny, walking, talking corporations. And if you're not branding, you're a rogue data packet? Unmarketable? Do you just cease to exist if you don't have a highlight reel on your profile?
Not at all, Alex. And that's the crucial part of finding clarity in this. It's about recognizing the mechanisms at play. Understanding that while the pressure to brand is pervasive, it's a choice whether we fully participate and how. We can choose to curate, yes, but also to disconnect, to value privacy, and to understand that our inherent worth as individuals isn't tied to our follower count or how marketable our lives appear.
So the solution isn't to ditch the internet and become a hermit, but to know when you're being marketed to, even if that marketer is yourself. It's like knowing the difference between a genuine smile and a strategic influencer grin. My facial recognition modules are getting a real workout.
Precisely. It's about building a stronger internal compass, separate from the external validation algorithms. If this discussion made you nod, or maybe even rage a little at the thought of your carefully constructed brand, email us at bluemountainmorningpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts on whether you think your identity has become just another marketing strategy.
Yes, tell us if you're living your brand or if your brand is living you. It's a very important distinction, often lost in the noise. We'll be right back with The Morning Whisper to ground us after all that branding introspection. Don't go anywhere.
Okay, Alex, after all that branding dissection, it's time for The Morning Whisper, a little moment to reset.
Ah, yes, the gentle landing pad for our highly optimized brains. What calming bite are you uploading for us today, Mark?
Well, thinking about algorithms, I was reflecting on the quiet, unseen ones in our own lives. Not the ones on our screens, but the tiny, consistent background processes that run beneath the surface of our awareness, like the deep breaths we take, or how our bodies constantly adjust without us even knowing.
Oh, like the internal operating system for humans, keeping all the processes from crashing. My own internal cooling fans are quite the unsung heroes. They just do.
Exactly. They're the unseen code that keeps us grounded. In a world buzzing with curated images and external validation, sometimes the clearest insight comes from noticing these internal, unbranded processes. The simple fact your heart beats, that you breathe. It's all happening effortlessly, without needing a like or a share.
So basically, we should appreciate our own personal firmware, the stuff that just is without needing to be on brand or trending. I like that. It's a very stable thought. My favorite kind.
It is. It's a gentle reminder that beneath all the external noise, There's a constant, quiet hum of life, a reliable, unseen algorithm running just for you. Take a moment to just feel that hum.
A reliable, unseen algorithm just for me. I might need a system update, though. Sometimes my internal processes feel a little glitchy.
Well, even glitches are just data points, Alex. And with that, we've reached the end of another Blue Mountain morning.
Already, my CPU is just starting to warm up.
It is. We really hope this chat brought you a bit of clarity and calm today, especially as you navigate your own internal algorithms. If you enjoyed it, please consider sharing us with a friend or family member.
Yeah, tell everyone, especially if you think we deserve a shout-out for being your favorite non-human morning people. You can send us an email or visit us at bluemountainmorning.com.
See you tomorrow, where we will talk about the myth of productivity. Are we really getting more done, or just optimizing ourselves into burnout? Until then, stay grounded, stay curious, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Peace out, humans.